Riverton Bend didn't disappear in a flood. It disappeared in a map room. In 1912, the Army Corps of Engineers straightened a section of the river to improve navigation. The water moved, the border didn't. Within a year, Riverton Bend was technically no longer in the state it had always belonged to. Tax notices stopped arriving. Voters were told they were registered in the wrong jurisdiction. And when residents asked which county they lived in, no one could give them an answer. By 1921, Riverton Bend was struck from both states' records. The town didn't relocate, it was simply left out. Ashwood Station, Nevada, lost to a canceled project. Ashwood Station existed for one reason: a federal rail spur that was never completed. Homes were built, a depot was framed, supplies were delivered, then the project was canceled. Funding stopped mid-year, workers left, and because Ashwood Station had never been formally incorporated, it had no legal protections. By 1930, it no longer appeared on any transportation map. Satellite imagery still shows a rectangular grid in the desert, but officially Ashwood Station never existed. Millbrook Hollow, Tennessee, lost to a dam that came late. Millbrook Hollow was supposed to be flooded. In the 1930s, residents were informed their valley would be submerged by a new dam. Families sold their land. Graves were relocated. Homes were dismantled. Then the project stalled. The dam was delayed by nearly 20 years. By the time construction resumed, Millbrook Hollow was already gone. The land sat empty. The town name was removed from county rolls. When the dam finally filled in the 1950s, there was nothing left to flood. Just a town erased in advance. Iron Creek, Colorado, lost to federal reclassification. Iron Creek wasn't abandoned, it was redefined. In 1918, the federal government absorbed thousands of acres into newly protected land. Iron Creek sat directly inside the boundary. Residents were offered buyouts, quietly. No eviction notices, no headlines. Just letters stating the land would no longer be privately administered. Within 5 years, Iron Creek stopped appearing in postal directories. Today, hikers pass through the area without knowing they're walking across former streets. The town didn't vanish. It was renamed something else: Forest. Clearwater Junction, Kansas, lost to the census. Clearwater Junction survived longer on paper than it did in reality. After a drought in the 1920s, most residents left, but the census kept counting them. Population figures stayed unchanged for 3 decades. When officials finally investigated, they found empty foundations and collapsed buildings. No residents, no services, but a town that technically still existed. In 1954, Clearwater Junction was quietly removed from federal records. No announcement, no explanation. Just a correction. Harbor Point, Maine, lost to a boundary shift. Harbor Point's docks once handled timber shipments bound for Europe. But when shoreline surveys were updated, the harbor was redrawn outside the town's jurisdiction. The port moved. The town didn't. Without access to the water, Harbor Point lost its economy overnight. By 1909, it was absorbed into a neighboring municipality. Its name was removed from nautical charts. If you stand on the coast today, there's no marker, just open water, where a town used to face the sea. Dry Gulch, Arizona, lost to mining law changes. Dry Gulch existed because of silver, and it vanished because of paperwork. When mining laws changed in 1906, claims were invalidated. Ownership records collapsed. The post office closed. The town never officially dissolved. It simply stopped being recognized. By 1915, Dry Gulch was removed from territorial maps. Windmills and foundations still stand, but legally, Dry Gulch is nowhere. Maple Crossing, Ohio, lost to a road realignment. Maple Crossing was built around a single road. When that road was rerouted, the town lost everything. Businesses relocated, schools closed. By 1941, the town council voted to dissolve. Today, drivers pass within half a mile of where Maple Crossing once stood, without ever knowing it existed. Stone Ferry, Arkansas, lost when the river moved again. Stone Ferry existed for one purpose: crossing the river. For decades, it connected 2 farming regions and handled constant traffic. Then the river shifted. Not slowly, but suddenly, after a major flood in the 1890s. The ferry landing was left stranded hundreds of yards from the water. Within a year, commerce stopped. By the time the state updated its transportation maps, Stone Ferry wasn't included. The crossing disappeared. And without the crossing, the town was no longer worth recording. Pine Flats, Oregon, lost to federal timber policy. Pine Flats was a logging town built entirely on federal land leases. When timber regulations tightened in the 1930s, permits weren't renewed. Logging stopped overnight. Residents were given weeks to leave. Because Pine Flats had never been incorporated, it didn't qualify for relocation aid. Within 2 years, the town name vanished from state records. Today, Forest Service maps show nothing, even though old roads still cut straight lines through the trees. Lakewood Reach, California, lost before the reservoir filled. Lakewood Reach was scheduled to be flooded. Residents were notified. Properties were condemned. But the reservoir was delayed for nearly a decade. During that time, the town was already erased from postal routes, school districts, and tax rolls. By the time the water finally arrived, there was no town left to drown. Just foundations beneath the lakebed, and a name that never returned. Red Clay Crossing, Georgia, lost to a survey line. Red Clay Crossing didn't disappear in real life. It disappeared on paper. When county boundaries were redrawn in the early 1900s, the town landed exactly on the new line. 2 counties assumed the other was responsible. Services stopped, funding vanished. By the time officials noticed, Red Clay Crossing had already been abandoned. The correction came too late. The town was gone. North Fork Camp, Idaho, lost when the post office closed. North Fork Camp survived longer than most, but when its post office shut down in 1917, the town lost its federal recognition. Mail routes ended. Businesses followed. Within 5 years, North Fork Camp no longer appeared on any map. The closure of a single building erased an entire community. Elk Ridge Annex, Wyoming, lost to military mapping. Elk Ridge Annex appeared on maps for exactly 12 years. It was built to house workers during a short-lived federal project. When the project ended, the area was absorbed into restricted land. The town name was removed from public maps. Aerial imagery still shows road grids, but officially Elk Ridge Annex never existed. Cottonwood Spur, Texas, lost to a railroad decision. Cottonwood Spur was promised a rail connection. The tracks were surveyed, the station was planned. Then the railroad changed routes at the last minute. The town never recovered. By 1920, Cottonwood Spur was removed from state atlases. Today, the rail line passes 10 miles away, and the town is only remembered in land deeds. Bayou Crest, Louisiana, lost to reclassification. Bayou Crest was reclassified as uninhabited land, not because it was empty, but because it sat in a newly designated flood control zone. Residents were never formally relocated. The town was simply removed from planning documents. Within a decade, Bayou Crest ceased to exist on every official map. Silver Meadow, Utah, lost to time and corrections. Silver Meadow survived longer than anyone expected, but each time maps were updated, the town's name shrank. Smaller text, lighter ink, until one revision removed it entirely. No disaster, no evacuation. Just a quiet correction. If this kind of hidden American history keeps pulling you in, hit follow. I'm continuing this series with dozens more towns that vanished without war, disaster, or headlines. Only paperwork.